Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have XFactorLive versus Barcast on Paradise Lost. Both players here pretty high in the OS lines. XFactor on 50 and Barcast on 46. Both players in the top 20 of all 1v1ers in the whole of Beyond All Reason. So it'd be nice to see a bit of naval gameplay from these guys today. And as we zoom in on XFactor, we can see that he is Armada and has gone 2 mechs into 2 wind into the additional 2 mechs, and then he's going to be going for his factory. Whereas, look over to Barcast here. Firstly, Barcast built an additional wind. He's also going energy storage, which you don't see very often. So it'll be interesting to see if Barcast has a plan of doing something a little bit different than normal. Barcast obviously has no power because he built an energy storage. That's why he has no power. And now finally going into the 2 mechs in the water. Actually decided to only build 1 and then into the shipyard. He knows he must be behind, and that is why. But we do have an ARM versus Cortex matchup today, which is nice to see. When we look at vehicles that can come out of each of these factories, the Armada factory, the Dolphin, is definitely a very good early unit. I would say that when it comes to Navy, especially Tech 1 Navy, has the advantage here. The Dolphins are by far superior than the Cortex version that they have. As we see, the Cortex version here being the supporter, the light gunboat. It's just, I don't know, I've never really liked them enough. You have to use them differently. So, he's Barcast has started off with a herring here to get some light air defense. It'll do in a pinch. At least it'll give him a little bit of protection before he can get some units up. I have seen quite often though people build a bot lab on the shore here just to get some res bots for all this energy, and then to continue building on the land. However, obviously that does put you even further behind. As we can see now on the mini-map up here, we have XFactor with 3 combat vessels, which is 2 Dolphins to the north and 1 Dolphin to the south, already on the way out, whereas Barcast literally only has a single supporter here to defend his construction ships. So, not looking good right now. He's got a bit of time before the Dolphins arrive. And the supporters are a lot cheaper to make, so he can get at a decent amount if he's supporting it. But as we see now, he's prioritizing getting some energy up whilst the wind is good. Alright, so the first clash here of 2 ships, and you can see who came out on top there. 60% versus like 80 something percent, and we look like we maybe, oh no, you didn't pay attention. Barcast managing to save a construction ship there as XFactor not paying attention. And the sheer quantity of lasers here being enough to cause problems for this Dolphin. And now starting to run away, but with the 3 Dolphins combined, they can turn on that pretty quick. They may get another construction ship down here as well. He pays attention and micros his units to shoot the construction ship, which he does. That's 1 lost construction ship is quite painful, but you may be able to get all 3 of these incisors, not incisors, sorry, Dolphins. Yep, he does. Only with a single support left, but he does manage to get them all. Now, boats, obviously, if you're not pretty new here, Boats have a lot of metal left behind. As you can see, straight away, 500 metal, but dolphins get into the base here. Now as well, if you don't know, Commander can't degun when he's underwater. So a lot of energy damage being done here. Barcast not really able to do anything. Subs do start coming out, but he needs to get rid of this one dolphin behind the factory. At the same time, even more dolphins on the way in. Some subs being built by Barcast will give him a little bit of defense here, but the factory does almost go down. And things are not looking good for Barcast right now. He's heavily on the defensive. Look at how many units he has in difference from XFactor. XFactor with at least, 5 dolphins just sat right outside of his base. Barcast only has 2 submarines. That's all he has. Luckily enough, though, right now, XFactor has no way to hit underwater stuff. So therefore, it means he can't actually do anything against these metal extractors. And unfortunately, that resurrect did not quite work out in his favor. Just a matter of time now before we see some submarines come out from XFactor. As we have a look over towards XFactor, you can see he's kind of channeled himself in here with these titles. And then is now just purely pushing out submarines to counter the submarines of Barcast. Now, this is a bit of a double-edged sword. By having these here, it does kind of protect his commander from any stray shots. But at the same time, these are explosive. And, yeah. Don't want explosive stuff normally right next to your commander. As we zoom out here, we've got a clear indication of who controls what. XFactor, with that much control of the map, that is not looking good for Barcast. Who knows, though, it's still early days, and especially with Naval maps, things aren't quite as static, and things can happen and move quite quickly. I'm half surprised we don't see just like a roaming submarine here to try and get some economy damage, but at the same time, Barcast desperately needs all of the units he's got to defend. And we can see right now, Barcast, because of all of his lost energy, he's actually such a huge amount of energy in the bank that he needs to do something. Barcast actually building the vehicle lab here in order to get some maybe amphibious tanks. Yes, amphibious tanks. Interesting choice. Also to get all the land mexes, I presume. Because if your enemy only has naval, why not? Had to lose another construction ship. He does manage to get at least a dolphin for his trouble. But not looking good for... Oh, that was great dodging. Not looking good for Barcast here at all. That early mistake just put him on the back foot throughout the entirety of the game so far. Being forced to build that early energy storage and such, it just meant that he's not really been able to pump out enough units. But we can see a good attempt at an attack here from Barcast. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have the amount of units needed for this. Does get another dolphin there, but he lost a lot for what was basically just a radar and a torpedo defense. But at least he's pushing back, getting more control of this other side. Although a lot of torpedoes now being fought over the top section right outside of his base. He's not really aware of it yet, so he's not dodging. Now he starts to dodge. This destroyer was chosen at the right time here to counter the subs. And manages to take out 2 subs and stays alive, which is good, but 2 subs are still left around. Torpedo defense should mop them up relatively easy. Yep. one left as well. That will get mopped up by the leftover subs. So Barcast in a good, well, defensive position right now. All the dodging, well played. Subs don't. Oh, there we go. He gets him. Subs can only shoot directly forward, which makes things a little bit difficult. Whereas things like this destroyer can obviously shoot 360 underwater. So microing subs is quite difficult, and this destroyer is going to get killed very quickly now as these dolphins come up and prepare to swarm him. XFactor does have radar on it? No, he doesn't. Okay, so XFactor isn't aware that that exists. He's just preparing to stop any units that moves past it. It's quite lucky on Barcast's point there. Oh, never mind. And as they go in, they will mop that destroyer up very quickly with the flanking damage there. But yet again, XFactor's going to lose some dolphins here to submarines. Surprisingly manages to get out in time before losing more than one. But with assault frigates coming out now, not looking good for Barcast. As we compare the two economies here, so we just quickly jump into the statistics here. Damage dealt fairly even here. As we look at units killed, I mean, units killed 30 to Barcast 18. That's not looking good. But metal produced is 19 to 15k. Barcast quite a way behind there, about 5k metal behind right now. And then energy produced is substantially different here, almost 50k difference. But Barcast losing a lot more, basically double the amount of energy just to XS. Probably due to him early on just kind of overbuilding energy when he didn't need to. Amphibious tanks now on the prowl. Don't know if he's using these just more of a, hey, I need something to kind of tank some damage for a bit. But we're seeing a good fight now on this north side. A lot of assault frigates coming out from Barcast as well. Does not have the unit numbers here though. But saying that, most of XFactor's forces there were all like heavily injured. Because of that, even outnumbered, Barcast has managed to push him back. And this is looking better for Barcast right now. He's already got a construction bot there ready to get that 1.2k metal. And it's starting to not look so good for XFactor. He does have a lot of control over this southern sea. As you can see, both players basically just deciding, yeah, we're not fighting that, and just kind of building a bunch of these harpoon defenses. Barcast just sent one unit down there to like slowly clear it up and make a hole, but he's not pushing too hard. Barcast with all of the land metal though now, whereas his opponent XFactor isn't. His opponent though has started to go air, which we may see a big impact if this manages to get off. The sheer volume of boats right now. And XFactor deciding to chase Barcast down rather than just run at his base with all these units. One assault frigate gets taken out by the torpedo defenses. I mean, most of this force is defenders. There's only a couple of assault frigates. Some danger now for XFactor's forces as they kind of get a little bit surrounded here. And this construction ship is going to get cleaned up pretty quick. did manage to get all of that 1000 reclaim and got actually a unit resurrect off as well. But so far, kind of turned into a little bit of a stalemate here, as both sides' forces kind of just kind of grouping up in the middle here. Barcast doing a bit of a risky move here, moving in his forces from the middle. Starts to turn them around, is going to lose an assault frigate for that mistake though, as he was a bit too slow to turn that around. Meanwhile, those other forces he had, he's trying to send them on a bit of a campaign here to try and get some more economy damage, but unfortunately they run into a dead end where there's nothing for them, and that's another 2 assault frigates lost by Barcast. It's not looking good for Barcast as well. If we look at the economy window in the top right hand here, slightly offset right now though because there's reclaim going on, but energy wise, Barcast is only 100 energy produced a second behind, which is not that much. Metal is obviously skewed right now because of all the reclaim that's going on. Another great push here from XFactor, forcing Barcast back even more. Torpedo defenses were there, but they're going to go down pretty quickly. Saying that, 2 assault frigates down, 1 destroyer down. The second destroyer is about to go down as well. Yep, now it just leaves 2 assault frigates and a destroyer. Forces that were in the middle are trying to get in to reinforce. You take those construction ships out, get some flanking damage on this army in the middle here, that would be good. Unfortunately, the army that was in the center also got flanking damage, so that got destroyed very quickly. And XFactor able to control the metal here, the reclaim, and that's a big thing. It's not looking good for Barcast. He's sacrificing this destroyer with the hopes that he can get some more of this reclaim. But assault frigates will just absolutely destroy destroyers. And he manages to actually get that destroyer out, which is surprising. Both players now have air. Purely just for fighters though. But the biggest thing here is Cortex air. If he can get some shurikens up, then that could turn the tide of this fight. However, he doesn't have any form of air superiority right now. He only has 4 fighters, whereas XFactor has a lot more fighters. So to get control of the air here is going to require some investment into Naval AA, which I don't think he's ready for just yet. He needs raw power from the boats, but XFactor has left control of this entire middle section here to Barcast, which has kind of helped him get back in the game. We see a second tier 1 naval factory here though from XFactor, which is how he's able to just produce so many more units. And unfortunately, Barcast just not able to keep up with this flow of units here. Using air engineers actually as a way of getting some of this reclaim as well, which is a great idea. 7k reclaim just sat right there right now, and Barcast just being forced back time and time again. Fight is not going to be enough. Oh, actually they end up taking them all out. He doesn't send them all in. But that is all of the fighters gone now. No bomber's been made, which is not really too much of a surprise. They don't work very well against Navy. But he could have bombed all of the energy production out. And with that, Barcast realizes that it's nothing for him left. He calls the GG. Unfortunately, Barcast was just on the back foot the entire game. That early mistake with the energy kind of cost him. And the early units of Cortex in the Navy aren't too great, the supporters. So he tried his best. Well done, Barcast. And the win goes to X Factor. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.